Hello everyone, welcome to another thrift store finds video. I did not make it to the usual half price day book sale that we normally go to. I went instead, spent the day out with my mom, had lunch and things like that, but beforehand went to a bunch of different thrift stores with her, some that she likes to go to, and stopped by Goodwill. I found, first off, we're going to go through the mighty tower of VHS that I found, because I happened to find a lot of really decent VHS tapes at different locations. Some were like bargain bins, some were regular room for $2. It all depends on what they were, but all throughout the day I found some pretty decent ones. And first off, get this stack of Blake 7 VHS out of the way that were released in Canada. This is a BBC science fiction series that, if I had to compare it to anything based on what I've seen, I've never seen the entire thing, but I've caught episodes here and there. It feels like a older BBC version of Firefly. It's kind of the closest thing I could come to in comparison to something most people would know. So it's a pretty interesting series, and it's not the easiest to come by on VHS, especially in the States. It was really something that it was very big, never caught on. I even think like Space 1999 or UFO are probably bigger here overall. This seems to be fairly unknown for a series of its caliber. These were released in Canada. I don't know if there were any official US releases, but as far as North American releases, I know these are released out of Canada. We have volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Some interesting cover art on a lot of these. 11. This one is 12. 13, 15, 17, 22, and 26, and I'm not sure how many there were in total. I want to say like probably 40 something off the top of my head, but a whole bunch of those, 1 through 4 have right in a row, so those will probably be lotted up. The rest will be kind of an individual thing, and then some individual stuff. Sword and Sorcerer. This is one that the cover is so awesome. I remember seeing it in the video store so many times, and one time I rented it and I did not like it. Just kind of a B, sword and sorcery, sword and sandals type movie. Just kind of okay video store, 80s schlock, but man, that cover art looks like from a really good old like Tor or TSR book cover fantasy. It's really cool. We have the Golden Voyage of Sinbad, one of the better Sinbad movies, and then Star Wars. We have Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back. Did not have Return, but I really like this release. See if we get those stickers off the front there. Just beautiful artwork. I love older copies of Star Wars on VHS. One of Wes Craven's probably least popular films, The People Under the Stairs, but in this household it's a favorite. Amanda and I really enjoy this as we both really like horror comedy, and this really fits that bill for us, so we've always really enjoyed that. One that I found for me, Deep Space Nine, Rules of Acquisition, The Muppet Show, and this volume has Mark Hamill, Paul Simon, and Raquel Welch. And never seen this sing-along before. It's a Muppet sing-along, and it's Muppet Treasure Island. So Amanda's favorite Muppet movie and my second favorite Muppet movie, Muppet Treasure Island. And these, I had all of these as a kid. This was like a memory explosion looking at these, because 1 or 2 of these I've seen in the years since, but most of these I have not seen since my little brother was like 3 or 4 years old. That was probably the last time I saw these, so getting close to 3 decades ago. It's crazy. Like, it's getting up there. We Sing videotapes, and these, I even started remembering the songs, because I probably heard these 100 times, because I watched them, then my younger sister watched them, and then my little brother watched them, and who knows what happened to them, probably thrown out years ago. But We Sing, Big Rock Candy Mountain, I remember this like vividly, watching, looking at all these pictures. I haven't even thought about this in decades, but I remember her going into the backyard and going to the little play area that she created, a little fort, and I remember all all the songs and everything from it. Grandpa's Magical Toys. This one was probably one of the ones we watched the most. And then Sillyville. I think, if I remember off the top of my head, I think my sister really liked that one. And the other one that was probably put on the most, because I think all three of us watched this one to death, but We Sing Together, a magical musical video for children. So these vintage We Sing and We Sing stuff from that era tends to do pretty well, so those are definitely worth grabbing for like $1 a piece overall. So that was really good. And then continuing the trend of kid stuff, we have a big stack of the Magic School Bus. I think I have, including this one hardcover, which you don't see very many hardcover, I think somewhere around 30. So I have 30 of Magic School Bus, and a few more, ABC Mysteries, some 101 creepy creature jokes. There's a couple of book pickups that were worth grabbing. And Buffy, nice to grab that. It's a little more modern, poppy sci-fi type thing. This book, it was a half off, so it was 50 cents. And yeah, 50 cents, so we could resell it for more than that. I pretty much just kind of grabbed it because of the title. Pretty terrifying. The Amanda Project. That's where she came from. And missed one random DS game, Diddy Kong Racing DS, just a loose cartridge found sitting at the bottom of a bin. It's like perfectly clean, the contacts and everything, just kind of sitting there waiting for me. And this $1, and it was 50% off the store we went to, so it was 50 cents. Saints of Virtue, and it is a late 90s, Windows 95, 98 PC game. And I looked it up because I was curious. I'd never heard of it before. I looked it up. It was definitely worth picking up for 50 cents. And it's curious. It is a Christian action dungeon crawling RPG. Saints of Virtue. Welcome to the kingdom of the human heart, a spiritual land deep within a believer's soul. As a saint of virtue, you must put on the full armor of God and do battle with the masks of humanity. Your journey will be a long and difficult one, but God's word will help you find the way. From Shine Studios. Which is bizarre. Definitely worth picking up for 50 cents though after looking up some solds. So that was a weird thing. That's it for video games. 2 just kind of random DVD finds. All these VHS. The DVDs were just nothing really super fantastic to pick up. I found The Munsters, Scary Little Christmas. And I've not seen this released before of Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's Are You Afraid of the Dark Freaky Favorites. Is a 2-disc release out of Nickelodeon and from Quebec, 1999. Family film. It's interesting. It has 6 episodes on 2 discs of Are You Afraid of the Dark. Interesting, a little collection, not one of the season releases, so that's kind of a curiosity I found. And one last thing, we have Jumanji, the original vintage board game. We have that ourselves, so pretty fascinating. A good day out for the middle of the week, and I have one more thing that arrived for myself, and Amanda also got very recently a game she's very excited for. I'm going to wait. It's a special edition, so I'll have her on at some point to show that off, because it's really, really cool. It's actually a very nice box set. But for me, from Imprint Films from Australia, we have the return of the Pink Panther on Blu-ray. Beautiful release, a lot of extras. The high-definition presentation, audio commentary from the Peter Sellers Appreciation Society. That's really cool. Return of the Laughter vintage featurette. Music and effects audio track featuring Henry Mancini's score. He's an absolute genius and has created some of my favorite songs from movies, of all time. Different TV spots, trailers, a lot of extras, and beautiful release with this nice slipcase. And I really enjoy getting the different cover art. And as well, you have the disc art, which is a pretty common cover for a lot of different releases. And then in the inside, some more interior artwork. Fantastic. I watched it immediately last night. It arrived yesterday in the afternoon, and great, definitely one of my favorites from the franchise. It's such an important film because this is the thing that revived the dormant franchise, started the 70s trilogy and all the other ones after the death of Peter Sellers. It revived Peter Sellers' career, really. I mean, it was just a very, very important film, and this is actually a really big deal this release came out, especially with Return, because Return, the rights reverted, and it is not owned by the same company. It's not owned by MGM. It's not really as all the other films, so there are frequently sets of movies of the Pink Panther series that omit Return. A lot of older ones. I have a really nice black with like beautiful artwork, like complete series collection that's missing Return. There are other ones, there are different sets throughout the years that are missing Return, and even some release lines when they go through and re-release a lot of the movies. This is sometimes omitted from that. I do have there's a Shout Factory DVD set that does include this and as Return, so that's happened a couple times. So Return is not quite as common to run into. It's out there, but it's a very important film, really, really funny. And the other thing, getting it on Blu-ray is a huge deal, because getting the Pink Panther films on Blu-ray, the better ones, the Peter Sellers ones, is actually fairly difficult right now. It's in a weird situation. Return is probably the easiest. Now, this has come out, and this is a region-free release. It is from Australia. I have just a Region A player. I don't have a Region Free player or anything like that. It plays fine. I know people that have got this, and they're playing it in Region B and C. So A, B, and C all seems to work fine. So it's either multi-region or free, or region free. There's no indication on the box that I can see, but it should work for everybody. The Pink Panther films, you have the non-Peter Sellers ones, Curse and Inspector Clouseau and Son of the Pink Panther, and those horrible newer Pink Panther movies that we pretend not they don't exist. Those were all available on Blu-ray, and you can find those. And the first one, the Pink Panther one with David Niven and Claudia Cardinale, that's available on Blu-ray. Pretty easy to find. But after that, it becomes more difficult. You have the bulk of the Peter Sellers, bulk of the series that people know, aside from the first one, A Shot in the Dark, Return, Strikes Again, and Revenge. All of those trail, it's not worth your time. But the main Peter Sellers ones, there's only one way to get them on Blu-ray, and as an out-of-print Shout Factory Blu-ray set that is now worth several $100s because it's out of print and because those movies are not available on Blu-ray anywhere else. Return had a PAL-only Blu-ray release a few years ago because, again, the rights are different, so Return kind of floats around, gets different releases. But again, it's not a region-free release, and from what I've read, it's not really super great transfer. It's not really an upgrade from the DVD. So this is a huge deal to get any of the Pink Panther movies on Blu-ray, because again, if you want A Shot in the Dark, if you want, before this release, Return, if you want Strikes Again, which is probably the funniest and most popular in the entire franchise, or Revenge on Blu-ray, the only way to get them is the out-of-print Shout Factory release. So I'm hoping in the future more of these get re-released. I don't know, because Return is a weird situation and it's very separate, that that will get its own individual thing, but hopefully some more of the other ones come to that form. We shall see and get this kind of treatment, because this is fantastic, and it's just sad that such an iconic, huge series that has been released countless times on every format, Betamax, VHS, and Laserdisc, they're all out multiple times. DVD, every other year there seems to be a new release of some of them, but to get them on Blu-ray is really difficult right now. It's kind of a weird situation.